How's it going, guys? So I thought I'd do something a little fun here today, a little different maybe. We can do a little tier list action. So I'm gonna go through. I got the main game here, and then a separate list. We're gonna do the DLC bosses next. So we'll start with the main game. I kind of rearranged the first row here for the first bosses that we go through. So we'll start, I guess, with the Grafted Scion. The first boss you technically come across. And in terms of difficulty, positioning in the game, build up, there's going to be a lot of factors for these bosses. I'm not necessarily going to rate them all fair and even, but I'll try my best. So the Grafted Scion, I really like this boss. I think it teaches you a lot of things about the game right off the hop. It's intimidating the first time you come across it. You're vastly underpowered. You're not really supposed to beat it. You can, of course. You can do anything in this game, but I think it's a good boss, honestly. And even if you lose against it, the fact that you can come back later and get your revenge on it, I think that's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna put the Grafted Scion up in B here. I think it's a pretty strong choice. Soldier of Godric, one of the most memed on bosses in the game. I don't think it's fair to put this guy in S tier. I know a lot of people would probably not argue with that, but Soldier of Godric, I don't think he's intimidating. There's no build up. It's not necessarily a memorable fight, save all the memes. So, put the Soldier of Godric in D tier. I don't think it's the worst. It's just not an exciting fight by any means. Nothing innovative about it. And then next here we got the Tree Sentinel. This is a good one. This is a good one. I think this guy belongs in A tier. It's challenging. He's a big learning lesson for the game. If you are not strong enough, just come back a little bit stronger. You know, go power up first. So I think we're gonna put him in A tier. The Beastman of Farum Azula. This is another boss I actually really like. I think it's cool when you see the later enemies kind of hidden away in the early game, and they might look intimidating the first time you come across them, but later they just become the common enemy, and I think the Beastman's a good example of that. I'll put it below the Grafted Scion. I think the Grafted Scion's a little bit better. What up, Dream? Nice to see you, bro. It's the tier list time, man. It is tier list time. Thanks for coming through the chat, bro. Alright, next we got the Demi-Human Chiefs. Pretty sure this boss is in the cave in Limgrave to get box tools back. This boss I don't find very exciting in the slightest. We'll put it below the Soldier of Godric. And then we got our friend Patches here. His fight itself is not that great, but he can give up, so it is a unique mechanic. Put him in C. Because you can just kill him outright, but if you're a little bit more patient, he will give up, and then it's the only fight that ends without somebody dying, so I think it's pretty interesting. Flying Dragon Agil. This is a good one. This is a good one, chat. Out of all the dragon fights, I think this is honestly one of the better ones. Its positioning in the game is early enough that the dragon seems intimidating, but it's very doable. And it's not that overwhelming. Some of the other dragon fights, they all just feel like a clone of Agil. And I think it's because Agil is the first impressionable dragon fight in this game. And then we have the Crucible Knight here. the Crucible Knight, the first one in the jail cell in Limgrave. This is a really tough boss at the start of the game, unless you got your parries down. This guy gives me trouble. He's not my favorite enemy. When I see them later in the game, I put respect on their name, for sure. But for where he is in the game, he's pretty challenging. I want to give him an A, but my instinct is telling me he's more of a B tier. Because when you kill him, you get 2,000 runes. And that is not enough for the challenge of this boss. So I'm going to put him in B tier, below the Beastman. I think that's fair. All these bosses here, they're not necessarily in order. I tried to order the first few of them, at least in terms of when you find them, but after that it goes into alphabetical order, so we'll get them as we go. So next here, Margit the Fell Omen. This is a good fight, boys. I'm gonna put him above Tree Sentinel. What's up, Joe? Nice to see you, man. The Soldier of God, Rick. Yeah, I could have put him in the S tier as far as the meme goes, but I'm being a little bit more realistic here, so we'd put him in D tier. Yeah, Margit is great. He's a filter. Like, if you don't know the mechanics of the game by the time you get to him, you're likely not going to accidentally beat him like you might some of the other bosses. He's a bit of a skill check for early game, and it's important to have those bosses. As much as the Tree Sentinel and him have the same role, I think Margit is he's good. It establishes his character, and he returns as well later. So I think he's a good one. So then we got Godric the Grafted. He's a fun fight. He's got decent music. His cutscene's awesome. His character is fleshed out a little bit in the lore. You know, his transformation cutscene is pretty sick. You know, bear witness, and all that. I think we'll give Godric, put him above the dragon, but below Tree Sentinel. I think Tree Sentinel is he's earned his spot, honestly. You know what? Maybe I'll put him above Tree Sentinel. That makes more sense. All right, so I feel like these are the biggest bosses of Limgrave here. Got a lot more to go. Yeah, Godric is pure spectacle, bro, for sure. And it's nice to have those bosses with that. So then we got the Shaffer River, where we have Ancestor Spirit and Dragonkin Soldier. Ancestor Spirit, for me, is a C tier. Put him above Patches. It's a nice boss, but it's not very challenging. Yeah. The music is nice for the spirit. The location is pretty cool, but I feel like it's just not the most memorable boss fight itself. Unlike, I feel like the Dragonkin, they're a lot better for me. I love their design. They're a little bit more intimidating. They don't have the biggest build up in terms of lore or you know, like environmentals. They're just kind of there, which is a bit underwhelming, but the fights themselves, I really enjoy them. So I'm going to give Dragonkin Soldier, I'm going to give it a low B. I think a low B is pretty fair. Alright, so now it's going to be a little bit more of a free-for-all here. Got some of the Liurnia bosses. Aiden, Thief of Fire. Oh, I'm getting a little call here, actually. Here, give me one quick second. Hey, sorry about that, guys. Just a little call there. I had to deal with that one. The Dragonkin in Siofra feels harder than the ones in the Rot Lake in Ainsel River. I agree, man. The first Dragonkin you see is he's like, whoa, am I ready for this guy? He hits hard, you know? I feel like the mid-game boss kind of dropped in the early game. And yeah, that one's really memorable to me. Alright, Aiden, Thief of Fire. This boss I find to be particularly underwhelming. He gives you a really good spell by killing him, but I don't think the reward of the fight is necessarily the judge of the fight itself. So I'll put him above Patches. I think Patches is like a pretty standard C tier. Glintstone Dragon Smerag. So the thing is, for how I feel about a lot of these dragons in the game is they're too similar. I feel like the dragons don't have enough actual personality on them. To me, Agil being the first one you see is the baseline. And because they don't really innovate on him, every other dragon I come across just feels like I'm fighting Agil 2.0. So they're a little underwhelming for me. So Agil I find to be very well designed, and all the other dragons are much lower tier for me. It's a tough fight, but I don't necessarily think that makes it a better fight. So I'm going to probably end up putting most of these clone dragons in the lower tier. So I don't know if D is too harsh. Maybe C. Put a lower C. I'll put Patches above the dragons because they're just copied for me, and it's uninspired, and that's not why we're here, right? Alright, next one. We got the Red Wolf of Radagon. Funny enough, this is a boss that I killed extremely quickly on my first playthrough, and I disregarded it. But for some reason on subsequent playthroughs, it got tougher. I don't know if it's just because I was too confident, but I really like this fight. I'm going to put the Red Wolf at a high B. I'm going to put it right here, right below the Grafted Scion. I think it's a good fight. You know, it doesn't have any lore build-up behind it, but the environment that you're in at that point in the castle, you're not really expecting to fight a beast. And a beast with a sword, or a beast with magic. It's interesting. So I think it's pretty good. And then we got Renala here, Queen of the Full Moon. I'm a little torn on this one. I don't really like this fight a whole lot. I like the different phases. The environment's nice. You know, the first phase being a little bit gimmicky, but the second phase is mainly what I'm judging it on here. What do you think, Joe? How you think Renala is B? B for could be better. I personally like the Dragonkin fight more than Renala. Maybe I'll lower the Beastman. Maybe I bump up Dragonkin. This makes more sense. Dragonkin's a high B for me. Crucible Knight, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like this. Renala hard B, yeah. I think this makes enough sense for me. Yeah, I feel like just bosses that run away. I'm not a big fan of that design. That's why I like Crucible Knight. For me, it has to be better. Crucible Knight is designed to go in. And bosses that are committing and attacking and being aggressive, I like more than the bosses that are running away and trying to kill me from a distance. So I find them more engaging. So I'll put Renala at a low B, I think. That's pretty fair. Got the Alabaster Lord. I think this guy is in the Peninsula. I don't think it's a very exciting fight. Not really much going on around him. I'm just going to put this guy in D. Demi-Human Chiefs is pretty bad. Soldier of Godric is... he's the meme, but he's not tough. The Alabaster Lord's a little tougher. Let me put him in a high D. Electo, Black Knife Ringleader. So there's a bunch of different Black Knives assassins. I'll probably pretty much rate them all the same. I think they're C. Let me put them above here, below Ancestor Spirit. I see another assassin here. Let me put all of them together. I think there's another one. Alice, Blood Knight, Black Blade. I think one of them has a name. Oh, if I see the other one, I'll throw it up when we get there. So, Ancient Dragon Lanciax. Yo, what's up, Gus? Nice to see you, bro. So next up here we got Lanciax. I like that this dragon just kind of shows up, and it's the first dragon that's one of the ancient dragons that you can come across. So the design being a little bit different than a Gil, I do like. That being said, I don't like enjoying fighting the ancient dragons because their heads are really small, so their weak point is small, and they keep their head up, and it's hard to actually use the weak point as a viable attack. But I do enjoy Lanciax for what it is. I'll put it in a high C tier. I'll put it above the Spirit. Ancient Hero of Zaymor. So, or Ancient Hero of Zaymor, rather. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, there's a bunch of things to consider. Is like, do their drops, like the talismans they give you, the weapons they give you, are those important to the boss fight itself? I don't think so. I think like their environments, the lead up to them, the music, the mechanics, the lore, I feel like those are some of the most important parts. So I think Lanciax being a high C is pretty fair. I'm not a big fan of the Ancient Dragons, but this one in particular, where it shows up in the game, I think it's okay. But Ancient Hero of Zaymor. These enemies are pretty challenging. I'm not necessarily excited to fight them, though. I think the Zaymor heroes are going to be B tier. And do I put it above Renala? I don't think so. I'll put the lowest B, I think. They're not... I could put it a high C, honestly. Maybe Lanciax first. Yeah, that's about right as I look at it. Yeah, it's a cool mechanic to see, and like the visual spectacle of fighting the ancient dragons is exciting. So I think it's okay there. So now we got both Estelles. So I gotta remember which one is which here. Stars of Darkness is the one in the cave, and Natural Born of the Void is the Ronnie Estelle. I think the Stars of Darkness is the more difficult version of Estelle. So I do enjoy this boss fight for what it is. I don't like that there's two of them. So I'll put the Estelle of the Stars. I'll put that above Renala. Maybe over here. And then I'll put the other Estelle right behind him. So I think the Stars of Darkness being a little bit more challenging is exciting, even though this is the one that you need to do for the quest. You get a really good spell for killing this one, and it's more difficult, so that matters a little bit to me. The first Estelle, the second one in the cave. Yeah, it's tough, man. The cave Estelle is no joke. Like, he's got all his clones and stuff. They all come in all at one time doing the grab attacks. It's no joke. Battle Mage Hughes. This guy is not the most exciting boss. I'm gonna put him below Soldier of Godric, just so Godric gets a bit of a win here. The Bell-Bearing Hunter, I feel like he is just a carbon copy of the oh shit, what's his name? Where is he? Tons of clones, harder because of the location. Yeah. There's another dragon. Let me put the next dragon next to it. Adula. That can be higher rated. That's fair. So I got the Bell-Bearing Hunter. Where's the other guy? The guy in the manor. What's our Priest of Blood? Elemer of the Briar. Okay, that's who I'm thinking of here. So I think the Bell-Bearing Hunter is just a carbon copy of Elemer of the Briar, but I much prefer the Elemer fight. I love it. It's it might be a hot take, but like this, to me, this is a contender for S tier, straight up. The The location is unique when you come across the Shaded Castle. The lore behind this guy is pretty cool. He just comes in and... Yeah, I think the difference between them is the setup, though, Joe. Like, the Bell-Bearing Hunter, he just shows up, and you're like, oh, who's this guy? What the fuck? But the Elmer of the Briar, he feels like the boss of the level when you get to him. The arena's tight, is claustrophobic. He really gets to utilize his weapon set. It's unique. So for me, the Bell-Bearing Hunter being another one of the clones, I'll put him in the D tier here. Let me put him over here. But Elmer of the Briar for me, I love that fight, man. It is tough. It's challenging. Let me put him above Tree Sentinel. For me, at least, I think that's where he is. The Black Blade Kindred. These guys are not my favorite. They're a little obnoxious to fight. They can be real tough. Yo, what up, Renegade? The Deathrite Birds F tier. Oh, we are getting to those guys in a second here. They are not far off. The Kindreds, I feel like they're in the same category as the Deathrite Birds. They're a little janky to fight. It's kind of tricky to target their weak points, but I prefer fighting the Death Birds over the Kindreds. So for the Kindred, let me put him in D. I don't enjoy fighting these. D for deserves to be better. And you're 100% right, Joe. That's I was gonna comment on that, but I was gonna save for the twin gargoyles. But I much prefer the dual fight than the single one. Yo, what's up, Nathaniel? Hey, welcome in, guys. Welcome in here. The list is taking shape, but we got a lot left to go here. So, Bloodhound Knight Darrywill. This is on his own. If you just go to the jail and fight him, he's probably C tier. Oh, I got you, Renegade. That's what the opinions are for, man. This is mainly my list here, but your inputs are valid, you know? What's up, Lucas? Welcome back, bro. Darrywill for me is a B. I love fighting him because you got Blythe with you, and having like a unique cooperator like that for the fight makes it more engaging. You know, Blythe's talking shit about him before you fight him, and then you know, being able to fight alongside Blythe makes it more worth it for me. So I'll put him in I think a low B is pretty fair. Yeah, he drops a decent weapon that's really good for the early and mid game with the Bloodhound's Fang, the cool Ash of War. I'm gonna do the DLC next, Lucas. I couldn't find a good list with all the names on them, as well as the DLC that wasn't too crazy. So I got the DLC next year, so we'll get there after. Yeah, I think Darrywill, he's a B. He's a pretty fun fight. For me, he's next to the Crucible Knight. Maybe if as I relocate these guys, I think this makes more sense. Renala, then Bloodhound, then Crucible Knight. I think that's fair. Oh, we're gonna get to Vale, Lucas. We are gonna get to Vale, bro. No stress. What's up, Natish? Nice to see you, man. I haven't played the new God of War games, but I really love the old ones, man. They're top tier. The Carrion Knight. Is this the giant troll? I think this guy's the Troll Knight, right? He's I don't find him particularly exciting. We're gonna put him in D as well. No, I think Soldier of Godric, he's got to be the highest level D as I look at it more and more here. Let me do this. See, for me, Renegade, I love the Bell-Bearing Hunter, but Elmer of the Briar is the Bell-Bearing Hunter. Like, his boss setup, the arena. Yo, what's good, Michelle? I don't necessarily remember all of Bull's mechanics. I know he's got the Carrion Sword. He looks a little bit different. He's not just a regular troll, but he's about as easy to fight them as the regular trolls. You know, just stay between their legs, kind of stay a little bit behind him. I do like the Bell-Bearing Hunters, but overall, they're just a clone of Elmer, so I can't really rate them too highly. Oh, we're doing good, Michelle. We're doing good, man. I hope you're doing good too, bro. Borealis, the Freezing Fog. He's going with the other dragon clones at the bottom of C here. I think this one's interesting because it does the frostbite. I know you're choked about the Bell-Bearing Hunter, Renegade, and I understand, but I feel like the clone fights are not my favorite. Like, Elmer of the Briar is one of my favorite fights in the game, but the Bell-Bearing Hunter is just a knockoff of that. It doesn't feel unique to me. Like, the level of Elmer, the setup, you know, the lore, the environment of the fight, it just feels, it's so claustrophobic. I like that fight so much more. Yeah, Borealis, I think him and Adula are kind of neck and neck for which is the best of the dragon clones for me. The magic one or the freezing one. Borealis, I think, is harder in terms of his like HP pool. So I think I'll keep Borealis at the top there. The Cemetery Shade. This is a D tier boss if I've ever seen it, chat. This guy, if you kill him, if it takes you more than 3 or 4 hits to kill that guy, I want to see your build. He's a pretty easy boss. Very forgettable, and not much exciting about him. Yeah, you put Borealis a little bit higher up, eh? Yeah, I'll give my quick reasoning again for my dragon votes here. So like, Agil is an near S tier for me. He's an A tier, but Agil's positioning in the game is it's a challenge. He jumps you by surprise on your first playthrough. He's overwhelming. He's exciting to fight, and he's a new enemy design with the dragons, right? And it just seems like every other dragon is a clone of him. So it's hard for me to wanna rate them higher because every one of these dragons you fight the same way you fought Agil. Yo, what's up, back? Oh, you're not gonna like where I'm gonna put him, bro. Putrescent Knight, he's coming, bro. He's in the next list here, but I think he ain't there, bro. He ain't there for me. All right, let's keep going. There's a lot of bosses here. Clean Rot Knight. It's hard for me to separate the boss fights from the enemy itself, but I do like fighting these enemies. I don't find them particularly exciting or dangerous. I'll put it next to Patches. Let me put it above Patches. I think that's fair. All right, we got both commanders here. So O'Neill is the one in the Caelid in the rot zone, and then Niall is the one at Castle Sol, my castle. This guy usurped my castle, chat. He's getting an F tier. No, I'm just kidding. So O'Neill, he spawns ads in the fight. I don't like ads in my fights. And you kill the first round of ads, you focus him a little bit, and then he spawns more ads. Like, what's up with that? Between the two of them, Niall is much harder. He's more aggressive, and it's a more exciting fight. So I'm gonna give Commander Niall. I'm gonna give him a low A. And Commander O'Neill, I'm gonna give him a high C. I think that's fair. The weapon is good, but I'm not taking their drops too much into consideration. I'm more thinking about like the music of the fights, the environment, the lore, the mechanics, the design, kind of things like that. Like the drops aren't really a consideration too much for me. Okay, we got the dual Crucible Knight fight. Man, the first time I found out that you had to fight 2 Crucible Knights at the same time, I was like, psh, keep your loot. I'm heading out this dungeon. But it's a good thing though, because it's intimidating. Because throughout the whole game, every time you fight a Crucible Knight, you know, you gotta lock in to kill those guys. And having to fight 2 of them at once, it was tough. But tough is good though. I think the double Crucible Knight fight is a high B. I'm gonna put it below Grafted Scion. I really like Grafted Scion being a high B. The Ordova's great. Oh yeah. Oh, the Deathbirds are they're gonna be pretty low, I think, Renegade. So the single Crucible Knight Celeria in the what's it called? The Deep Root Depths. He's you know, I feel like he's with all the other Crucible Knights. A single Crucible Knight, they're not too tough. I should probably put these above Dariel though. I think that makes more sense. Hey, thanks for coming by the stream, guys. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep it moving here. We got the Crystallians. So the first time you hit one of them, you deal no damage. They don't want to stagger, and it's like, oh, how am I supposed to fight these guys? But then when you break their shield, you're like, oh, holy shit, they take damage now. And the fact that they have a shield you can break off makes it a little bit more interesting to me. So I think either high C or low B. Probably high C. So as I'm looking at these guys here, maybe bring up him like this. Ancestor Spirit next to there. Ancient Hero, Crystallians. Yeah, it is about right. Maybe behind the Black Knives. Not the triple rot one. I'm not sure if that one is in here. It's got to be, right? Perfumers. TB Mariner. Yeah, I don't see it. Alright, the Deathrite Birds. Sheesh. So the first Deathrite Bird. The first Deathrite Bird doesn't bug me as much. I don't hate fighting it. To me, it's a high D. It's a high D. But the Deathrite Bird in the consecrated snowfields or the snow area, to me that boss is awful. It's just so strong. It's erratic. I think we got our first F, boys. We got our first F. That Deathrite Bird is just not fun to fight. The other one positioned earlier in the game is more enjoyable to fight for me because it keeps its weak point a little bit more accessible. And why have a weak point if you're not going to be able to hit it, you know? Yeeted you off the cliff. That sounds about right for that thing, man. But jumping off the cliff is better than fighting it, so maybe you came out ahead. Decaying Exeeks. This is I think this dragon is a cut slightly above the rest of them. He's tough when you come across him. His positioning, his design looks pretty nice compared to some of the other ones. He's rotted out. He fits his environment a little bit more. But at the end of the day, he's still another Agil clone. So I'll make him the best of the dragon clones. The Demi-Human Queen. The Demi-Human Queen. I'm thinking of the one in Mount Gelmir, but I think that one has a different name. That might be the one I'm thinking of, though. With the talisman. Yeah, I think if the Demi-Human Queen is the one I'm thinking of, this one is it's another. I think it's another F. That was just bad. Just not a very exciting fight. The Alabaster Lord, Bottom Mage Hugues. Demi-Human Chiefs. I'll keep it in D tier because it's just an early game boss. Gillica? Oh, the Lich Dragon. You already know, Renegade. You already know, man. It's the Demi-Human Chief. Queen. Yeah, I think it's an F. It's not very exciting. Very F for forgettable, you know? Oh, we're on the same page, Renegade. We are on the same page, bro. Draconic Tree Sentinel, though. I think this guy's a high B. He's definitely more challenging than the other Tree Sentinel. Yeah, I think that's about fair, actually. As I look at it, I think he is an A fight. Maybe a lower, maybe a high B. Hey, we'll get there when we get there, Lucas. We will get there when we get there. There's a few more, though. Yeah, I think the Dragon Tree Sentinel is a B. Because the first time you fight the Tree Sentinel, it's iconic. And when you get to this guy, you're like, oh, he's an upgraded version of it. So it's not as It's not as well defined, but his kit is different. His attacks are different. He's harder. The positioning for him is pretty appropriate. I think we give him a high B. I think we give that guy a high B. The Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. I think we'll put it. We'll do the same thing as Estelle. I think the first one we fight is better positioned in the game. It's more exciting when we find him. Alright, Elder Dragon Grail is another dragon clone, so we're going to put him at the bottom here. The Erdtree Avatar. So there's a whole bunch of these enemies, but if I'm rating it purely as the first one you come across, it, you know, reminds you of the Asylum Demon from Dark Souls. I think it's a pretty fun boss. I think this guy gets a low B. And the fact that there's so many clones of them, I'm not a big fan of that, but it makes sense. The Erdtree Burial Watchdog. Jeez. I don't like the, like... What's up, Lusu? Hey, we're doing it, man. We're doing it. The tier list is happening, my man. So the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. You know, I was thinking D as well. I like their design. Their movement is just so unnatural. And, like, I think that stuff is good. It's tricky. It's tricky. I think I'll give him a low C, honestly, instead of a D. The Erdtree Burial Watchdogs, they're unique enough. Esger, Priest of Blood. I think we'll put him next to Hughes. I don't got much to say about him. Yeah, I'm heavily weighing my first playthrough and then considering my first playthrough with my subsequent playthroughs. So, like, actually, this is perfect where we're at now. The Falling Star Beast. This guy on my first playthrough, I was stuck. I couldn't beat it. It was just so hard for me. And I like the challenge. I like his design. He looked unique. Actually, I found the full-grown one first. So the full-grown Falling Star Beast is the one I'm truly thinking of. And this one is, I think it's a high B tier. A very high B tier. And then the fact that there's a weaker one hidden away in a cave somewhere, I don't find as exciting. So we'll put the clone. Let's put him over here. Let me see. Yeah, behind the black knives. I think that's about right. Yeah, the Volcano Falling Star Beast, that guy gave me such trouble. The arena was cool. And, you know, you have the big Volcano Manor right behind the arena. So you can see what you're fighting towards. If you really want, you can even skip this boss. And the fact that that's an option is, I like nuance to the fights. So I'll give him a high B. You skipped it. Exactly. The first time is like, I had to. I just wasn't, I didn't have the right mindset. He was just beating me. He was stronger. It was a skill issue. But the fact that you can just run around him and keep going, I really like that. Yo, what's up, Rouge? Nice to see you, bro. Nice to see you. Mr. Simpson. Yeah, we don't have any S's yet, Lusu. You got to earn that S tier for me, straight up. But we're getting there. There are some S's I'm looking at in here. So the Fell Twins. These are the two Omen you fight trying to activate Morgoth's Great Rune. I think these guys are a low C. I don't think they're a D tier by any means. Soldier of Godric should be S. I know. I could put him up in the S as a placeholder for the meme, but you know, we all know he's not really an S tier, right? Like, right? So next we got Fia's Champion. So this is a pretty neat boss. This one reminds me of the I don't know if it's here too. No, I guess I don't see the other one. I'm thinking of the one you do for the pot invaders. But Fia's Champion, I don't hate this fight. It's neat. It's neat. I'll give it a low B. It's a little bit different. The Mikla one. Okay. Well, we made it to Fire Giant, guys. Fire Giant. Honestly, as I look at it, I think the Fell Twins are better than the dragons, the clone dragons at least. So I'll put him there. I think that's better. I like that. So the Fire Giant, chat. Is the Fire Giant S tier? Or is he high A tier? That is the question. Is the Fire Giant S tier? Or is he A tier? Lusu, I have the DLC bosses in a separate tier list right here. And we'll do this one after. I think the Fire Giant is a high A tier. I don't think it breaks through S tier for me. S tier, it's got to be something special. And like, I'm still considering Elimer of the Briar for S tier. I think Elimer is a low S tier because it breaks through the requirements for me. I think the only downside of him not getting S tier is like music and cutscene, because the environment for me and the mechanics of that fight are so fun. But I think I'll edge out the Fire Giant a little bit more. He's got cutscenes. It's very important for the story and the progression of the game. I think I like that little adjustment. You know what? Let me move Nile up a little bit. Let me move Nile above Tree Sentinel. I think that's fair. Flying Dragon Grail. Elder Dragon Grail. Wait, is Elder Dragon the one that can't move? Because am I thinking of Flying Dragon Grail? I think if this is the one that can't move, that's the worst boss in the game. It just sits there and dies. Alright, Frenzied Duelist. I don't remember the boss fight, but if it's the enemy, I'm thinking of the little gladiator guys. You know, they're pretty fun, but they're nothing special either. I'll put him above the Watchdog. You know what? Let me put him over here. I like that more. I think the low C should be reserved for all the dragons, honestly. That makes more sense to me. Godefroy the Grafted. We got another F tier, boys. Yeah, I didn't think that one was a boss. I don't think Elder Dragon Grail is even a boss, so we'll give that down there. Godefroy the Grafted has got to be one of the worst clone bosses in the game, because Godric is so unique in his design, and you know, he's got all his lore, all the build up, and Godefroy is the complete opposite of that. Everything that makes Godric a good boss, Godefroy is the opposite for. You know, he's in a random location, you're like, oh, like, what's this? Oh, it's this guy, I already killed this guy. You know, his name is... It's everything about it is carbon copy and boring. It's uninspired. Godefroy is a F. It is an F. So we got both Godfreys next. I'll do the Ghost first. I think the Ghost Godfrey is low A. I don't think anybody would dispute that. It's pretty fun fighting Ghost Froy, and killing him gets you the Talisman pouch. I know I'm not really ranking too much on the drops, but the talisman's pretty sick. Yo, Lucas, you've asked that question so many times, bro. I told you yesterday, man. Just keep it chill. I'm not gonna tell you how to play. Just keep it chill, bro. A tier for Ghost Godfrey. I think so, bro. I think Ghost Godfrey is low A tier. His positioning, his build up is it's pretty good. I like his environment. You start like really getting into the capital stuff when you get to him, but everything that's good about Godfrey does better. And I think Godfrey's S tier, guys. He's either S tier or A tier. And when I think about the reasons why a boss deserves to be S tier, Godfrey checks the boxes. The arena is great. That's what I'm saying, Lucas. Use your judgment, bro. So we got Godfrey at S tier. His design, his lore, the arena, the music, the transitions, the build-up, the environment around him, everything about Godfrey is S tier, and deservedly so. Warrior. I have given thee courtesy enough. Yeah, Godfrey is he's an S tier, and it makes me happy to see him to be the first to break through this little A tier barrier here. So we got the Apostle. Yeah, I think that's fair, Lusu. I think Godfrey, first Elden Lord, is A tier, but when you get him to half and he transitions into Horalu, that breaks him through to S tier. The transition is sick. The cutscene with Sarash, the gameplay switch up, it's beautiful. That is how you should do a phase 2, honestly. So we got the God skins next year. The Apostle is in the Kayla Tower, and yo, what up, photos? I did not do Radagon yet. Radagon is down over here. What do you mean you can't see photos? You're a photo, shouldn't you see? You think it's too small photos? Is that what you're trying to say, or it is a little can zoom in a little bit, but the ads start kind of taking over. I can zoom in a tiny bit here. Wish I could get rid of the ads, but is that a little bit better? I don't want to bump it up too much though, because the stuff starts to take over. You know what I mean? If I do this, I can't get rid of these, so I don't want it to be on the tier list. So I think this is about as zoomed in as I can get. So the Apostle, I really like the Apostle. I'm trying to rate it on its own. I think it's a solid fight. Oh, I don't think so, Lucas. I don't think so. I like the duo, but we're not quite there. So Apostle on its own, I'll give it a high B. And then as I think about it, honestly, I think the Noble is also right behind the Apostle for me. The Noble, its roly-poly attack is very obnoxious. It's more aggressive than the Apostle is. The Apostle's more manageable. Maybe I flip them. Yeah, the Noble gets the hate, but I think it gets the hate for the right reasons, because it's annoying and hard to deal with, and that's how bosses should be, right? You shouldn't just steamroll through every boss. I like both their arenas are pretty awesome. I'm doing both photos. This list here is just the base game, but I have a separate list ready right here for the DLC after. So the Spirit Caller Snail is the one that calls each of the Godskins individually. And on my first playthrough, this thing gave me more trouble than the duo did. And I shit you not. I don't know why, but fighting them individually at this point was harder than me fighting both. But it is before them, so I think honestly these all might end up like that. So right next to each other there. And then we got the duo. Lucas says throw them in F tier. Lusu, I feel like you'd probably also put the duo in F tier. I don't personally find them that way. I think the Godskin duo is low A tier. I think the gimmick of the dual fight is contentious. The dual fight it has benefits, but it also has detriments. And I think the benefits of these two, they complement each other pretty nice. The arena is awesome. The music is incredible. I think they complement each other visually as well, referencing Ornstein and Smo from Dark Souls 1. And it felt like a proper homage to that. To be fair, I feel like the only thing that would make me put them in high B instead is the Noble. Because the Noble, for me, the roly-poly attack it's cheese. It just is. And I don't want to rate cheese highly. But I think the Apostle complementing the duo enough will break it through to me. So I think it's low A tier. Moving on, the Golem Archer. I don't know if this is even a boss again, but we'll put them at the top of F. They're not really that challenging. Grave Warden Duelist. I think this is another one of the Gladiator guys. Where's the other one? Fell Twins right here. So let me put him at the low C. You know, as I look at the Bell Bearing Hunter, I don't know if D is deserved. Okay, you know what? Let me switch it up here, okay? Here, let me put all these clone dragons at the top of D. I think this will make more sense. And then I can go like this. I think this makes more sense to me. Cemetery Shade, Demi-Human Chiefs, Esker. Okay. Move him up a little bit. Bell Bearing Hunter next to Fell Twins. Sure. I think Bell Bearing Hunter, put him above Clean Rod. This guy's climbing the ranks as I look at it. I love the fight. It's just, it's the clone factor that's dragging it down for me. Okay, let me bump him up a tiny bit more, but I don't think he beats the Falling Star Beast. So Bell Bearing Hunter, he climbed up a little bit. Switch the list up. Let me still put Soldier of Godric at the top of D. Cemetery Shade. Yeah, these bosses are pretty forgettable. But we got a lot more here, so let's keep going. The Great Worm Theodorix. So we got a bunch of these worm dragons, and they're pretty fun, but they suffer from clone syndrome as well. So considering how oh, there's Magma Worm right here, so I'll give Theodorix the edge as he's named, and he has a bit more HP. So I'll give Theodorix, I'll give him low B. I think he's fine there. Put him above champions. And then Magma Worm, as it's a clone, I'll put it low C. The Guardian Golem. Yeah, you can chill with the other Golem. I don't take those bosses very seriously as bosses. Kindred of Rot. I don't recall this guy being a boss, so I'll kind of put him next to the Clean Rot. There it is. Let me put him above Patches then. You know, let me put him right behind Patches. You can keep his spot. All right, we're making progress, guys. We're making progress here. Leonine Misbegotten. I like this boss. I like this boss. He's in a far-off castle. He's exciting the first time you find him. I think over here. Put him under the Beastman of Fair Missoula, but above Renala. I think that looks about right to me. Alternatively, I can move Renala here, and this makes sense as well. Fortisax. Oh, you already knew, Lusu. Let's not waste any more time. We need another S tier, and Fortisax deserves that slot. And for me, Fortisax is better than Godfrey. The music, chat, the music, the lore, the design, the arena, the gameplay. Killing him gives you an ending to the game. Every single thing about Fortisax checks the box for me. I feel like the only legitimate criticism I have for Fortisax is he needs more HP. For a boss of that significance, he's so easily taken down, but all the other elements are so strong that I think he deserves his slot as an S tier. And it's gonna be hard to usurp that role for me. Lich Dragon Fortisax is one of my favorite bosses in the game, and yeah, for good reason. We all understand why. So let's keep going here. Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree. Yeah, I agree, Lusu. I agree. As far as the dragons go, they got to be different and unique, you know? Like, that's why all these other dragons are all down here. Like, I fucking love dragons. But the thing is they're just carbon copies of each other, and they're not unique enough. But Fortisax is. He is not like the rest. So we got Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree. So I'll put the other Loretta as well. So I'll do the one you fight at Ronnie's Castle, the ghost first. I think this is a decent B tier boss fight. Let me look here. Slide her up. Let me put next to Renala. I think that makes sense. So the ghost version of Loretta, I think, is it's a fun fight. It's engaging. It being a phantom though lowers my my rating a little bit, considering we have the actual Loretta. So I think Loretta, Knight of the Halic Tree, is it's another. I think it's a low A. It's a fun boss. It's tough. Maybe high B. I think high B makes sense. Do I put her above the Godskins? Maybe right here. I'll put her below the Godskins. I think the Godskins are more exciting to fight than her. Okay. Alright, who we got next here? The Mad Pumpkin Head. I think that is a real solid C tier boss. He's fun to fight, but there's nothing that exciting. Lucas, you're on to something, bro. And Lusu, you're aware as well. We got another S, guys. Placidusax, another Dragon Lord. But now the tough part is it's rearranging these guys to be fitting. I think in terms of gameplay, I think Godfrey is better. In terms of aesthetic design, lore, I think Placidusax is better. The fact that they reference Placidusax in the DLC by adding his heads onto Bale, that is honestly a factor for me as well, because it increases the lore for Placidusax as well. But I think we give it to Godfrey though, or Godfrey. The gameplay I find is a little bit more engaging. Placidusax is he's a giant hitbox. He's easier to hit. Godfrey doesn't let you hit him quite as easily, so I think we give it to Godfrey. Yeah, exactly, Lusu, exactly. Malekith. Okay, we're on a roll here with these S tier bosses, chat. I think Malekith is one of the best bosses in the game. I think he deserves to take the spot over Fortisax for my favorite boss. The way that this boss, chat, the way that this boss uses his environment needs to be studied and implemented more often. Because, yo, what's up, McSauce? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. The way that Malekith uses his environment needs to become the standard. Because all these other bosses, just about every other boss on this tier list, you can pluck them and throw them into a different arena and it won't make a difference. That doesn't work for Malekith because he needs his environment to fight you. And the cutscene, the gameplay, the foreshadowing of him and Garank, everything about Malekith is fucking chef's kiss. Yeah, he jumps on the pillars. The significance of him in the story, like when you fight him as well as before you come across him. Malekith is it, guys. And then we are at Melania, guys. This one might be contentious as well. So Melania, guys. My first playthrough with Melania, I probably would have put her in a high D tier. I do like the Fire Giant, Angus. I do like it. I would have put Melania at a high D on my first playthrough. Waterfowl Dance and the Lifesteal are two extremely unfair mechanics to fight against. She will parry you as well. This boss does not belong in this game because you don't have the tools required upon first meeting her to beat her. Like a lot of these other bosses, you can come across them and you might beat them on your first try. But upon repeated playthroughs and, you know, improving myself and getting better, I think Melania is an A. I can't give her S though. It is optional boss 100%, but I'm taking the fight for what it is, you know? The only reason I can't give her S tier, Lucas, is the lifesteal plus waterfowl are just so overpowered, and being able to lifesteal even when you block is it's pretty toxic. But waterfowl on its own is probably the deciding factor for me. If she did not have waterfowl, I think she'd be an S tier. But as it stands now, I think Melania is one of the highest rated A tiers for me. I enjoy doing the fight. Oh, 100%, Lucas. But it's also my personal experience. You know, I'm thinking of my first playthrough and my own attempts at killing her solo. I'm not trying to compare myself to the people who do no-hit runs of the game, you know? Because at that point, everybody would be an F-tier boss because you can do the boss without getting hit, you know? I'm just considering my own experience. So, next year... Yeah, I love her helmet too, Lucy. The helmet's awesome. So we got the Mimic tier. And this boss could probably go in any single slot, and I don't think anybody could disagree. Because that's the beauty of the Mimic tier. This boss will fight you however you want to fight it. And for me, I think Mimic tier is a low S. Because I think the versatility of this boss is so fascinating. You know, if on a playthrough, you're like, somebody said it in my chat, like, you know, take off your weapon and just box the Mimic tier. I'm like, that's actually an option. We can literally just throw hands. Or, you know, if you want to be a spellcaster and give it all the buffs, the Mimic tier can be better than Gideon Ofnir. Because it is what you are. And the fact that after you kill it, it becomes your ally. I think, if, like, S might be a little too much, but... like over here, straight up, I think it is in that top bracket. Maybe I'll put it here. I think S may have been a little overselling it too much. I think you're right, Lucas. So I think Mimic tier is a very, very highly rated boss for me. Is it the most challenging? No, but it's exciting and it's fun to fight, and to me that matters. And its environment, it's pretty awesome, and Nokron and stuff. So I like the Mimic tier. The Regal Ancestor Spirit. To me, this is a clone of the other one, but it's the better of the two. So I think I'll just keep them next to that like that. So the Regal, it's a bit more challenging because it heals, and I gotta rate the more challenging one, I think, for those two. All right. This one I was mulling over for a little bit. We got Moog. We got two Moogs, chap. We got Moog, the Lord of Blood, the real Moog, and we got Moog the clone. Sewer Moog. I think Sewer Moog is where is he? There he is. I'm going to put Sewer Moog in a high B. I think, like, Moog is fun to fight. I don't think he's better than Noble, though. Let me think about this for a quick second. Maybe he's low B, as I look at it. Because he's not unique, because he is only a clone and a lesser version of the real Moog. And the real Moog, for me, is he's another S tier. I love the Moog fight. It is so fun. Yeah, I think you're right, Lucas. I think you're right. The Moog, Lord of Blood, the music, here, you know, as I'll put it on here. Moog music Nihil. I don't know if you guys have heard this one, but it's beautiful. So I'll play this here. That's tasty. This music tells you everything you need to know about this boss. I think I'll rank him above Placido Sax as well. Moog is great. Yeah, Moog was tough for me on my first playthrough, but I always liked fighting him. Alright, Miranda the Blighted, that's a big flower, that's a big F. Big F, how about that? We got Morgod here. Let me turn it down a tiny bit. There we go. Nihil! So Morgod, the true version of our boy Margit. Let me put him right above the rest, honestly. I think these two are awesome. Yeah, Morgott is A tier for sure. I'll give him above the Mimic tier. I think the Mimic, that's the tough part. Let me put a Mimic at the lowest of A. I think that's fair. Keeps the rest a bit more in line. I like that. I like that. Here it comes. Here it comes, chat. Necromancer Garrus. This guy's actually kind of funny. I don't hate him. I think he's gonna be middle of the sea. Yeah, like a cutscene for his transition. Nihil. Nihil. Yes, sir. Necromancer Garrus. I like this fight actually. I think it's one of the best of the worst. Let me put him over here. Let me put him right beside Patches. Actually, over here. Because this guy, he's the one with he's got the little slugs around him. As far as an ad fight goes, he's not bad. The Knights Cavalry. So this one's a little tricky because there's a bunch of them. So which one do I pick to raid, you know? The first one you come across on the bridge, sure. Is the one you can cheese? Probably not. Is the double Knights Cavalry in the Consecrated Snowfield? It wouldn't be a bad one to pick, but overall, they're all pretty similar in how you fight them, so I'll just consider the first one. I think Knights Cavalry is a B. I'll put him right here, above Fia's Champion. Knights Cavalry is a fun fight. Feels like the inverse of the Tree Sentinel. The Nox Duo. These guys are a C. Certainly a C. I think that's about right. Oh, true, Lucas. Consort Radon's music? Yeah, I could put that on. Consort Radon OST. Whoops. Well, closed it, so let's just play it anyway. This one's extended. Let's pick this one. Alright, yo, I got you. I got you. Alright, who we got next here? See, the only thing I'm considering is my C tier and my D tier. I'm very confident about the rest. Just want to get the order, but I'll look at the order after. We'll move them around. So, Omen Killer. I like this boss. It's a fun enemy to fight. Let me put him above Patches, above Aiden. Yeah, let me put him right over here. Right under the Bell-Bearing Hunter. I think that's about right. The Onyx Lords. To me, it's the same as the Alabaster, right? The Onyx Lord. Alabaster Lords. Yeah, the lore for Mesmer's Fire, eh? Okay, okay. Perfumer, Trisha, and Leonin Misbegotten. Well, we've already fought a Misbegotten, and the Perfumers aren't that interesting on their own. I don't think these bosses complement each other very well either. I think this is a D. Put that at the lowest D. The Putrid Avatar. They're comparing to the Erdtree Avatar, which I have in B over here. The Rot makes it more challenging, but it feels like a knockoff. So I'll put this in put it in the lowest C. I really don't like the clone bosses, guys. To me, that makes the enjoyment of a boss fight go down real fast. So we got the Tree Spirits here coming up next. Putrid Grave Warden Duelist.
It's another one of the gladiator type enemies. Maybe this one's a little bit harder. I'll put him at the front. Okay. Ulcerated Tree Spirit and Putrid Tree Spirit. Ulcerated Tree Spirit and the Putrid Tree Spirit. Both of these enemies are annoying. I think the Putrid Tree Spirit is the rotten one for the Millicent quest. I don't like that boss fight at all. To me, this is one of the worst of the worst. Even worse than the enemy that doesn't move. And the Ulcerated Tree Spirit is not much better. I'll put it at the top of F. They're just so huge. The camera is working against you. And the rot one in particular, you have no room to move. It's either you sit in the rot, or you fall off the map. And for me, those are just two L's. Like, you gotta have some area to actually fight. Like, if you guys watched my fight for the Putrid Tree Spirit, I probably fell off the map like 6 or 7 times trying to fight it. Like, it's miserable. We got Radagon here, Elden Beast. Here, let me slide them back a little bit. Let me put Radagon over here. Let me slide these guys back a little bit. Get through some of these more smaller guys here. Alright, so Royal Revenant. Yeah, they're pretty fun. I don't think it makes it into B tier. You know what, as I look at it, Putrid Avatar, you can go to D. I'll swap you up for the Royal Revenant. And then Magma Worm is a clone. I think about right there. That's about right. The Rune Bear. Honestly, I think right next to it. Magma Worm's a clone. Let me just move the clone down again. Alright, this is looking better. The Sanguine Noble. So, when you come across these guys in Moog's Palace, they're pretty strong. But the one in the boss fight itself is pretty manageable. And it's not super intimidating. It looks pretty cool. Give the... Let's go below Pumpkinhead. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, I like that. The Scaly Misbegotten. Well, Misbegotten should have misbegotten somewhere else. I'll go with the other Misbegotten clones. Because for me, the Misbegotten in the castle, where you get the grafted greatsword, is the best one. The Millennium music? Yeah, I'll put that one on next. The Stone Digger. This one, I feel like it belongs with the other... Where'd it go? Right here. I like the aesthetic of the other one more, so I'll put it next to it like that. The Tibia Mariner, bro.
The Tibia Mariner, man.
Yo, what's up, Alexander? Nice to see you, bro. If you haven't seen all these bosses yet, man, I hope I'm not spoiling it for you. This is not necessarily a difficulty tier list, but it's just my opinion. But there is a lot of bosses to look forward to, brother. The Tibia Mariner for me is it's F tier. It is F tier. I can't stand the Tibia Mariners. They're so boring. They don't do anything. They summon. You can't even kill the summons. It's just weak, man. Yeah, it's literally worse, man. Look, let me put it one step above the boss that doesn't move, because that's pretty much how it feels when you fight those things. I'm gonna move the Deathrite Bird to the top of F, because even though it's I don't like the design of it, it's still a decent fight in of itself. So I think Deathrite Bird is the top of F. Yeah, exactly, Alexander. I don't know one person who enjoys fighting the Tibia Mariners. It's just trash. Alright, this one might be another contentious pick here. We got the Twin Gargoyles. And for me, this is an A tier fight, guys. I think it's a very low A tier, but it breaks through B tier. The double gargoyle is fun. I like that fight. You know, the music's not necessarily super memorable, but the encounter is. They spew poison at you, which is tough to manage. The second one only shows up when the first one's at half HP, and if you have the damage, you can kill the first one before the second one even comes out. and they have different weapons. They have different attack patterns. The zone you're in Nokron is cool, and killing this boss gives you access to get to Fortisax. So I think the Twin Gargoyles is a low A. Yeah, the Gargoyles, I understand the contention, Alexander. On my first playthrough, I couldn't stand them, but they grew on me as every time I think about the Gargoyles, it's like, yeah, I want to fight them. Like, I want to fight them so I can kill them, which is the feeling a boss should give you, truly. So we got Wormface here. What did you say about Wormface, Lucas? Deathworm is a unique boss because it has buildup of Deathblight and you can't get it on your weapon. So I think A, and you wouldn't think something like it wouldn't be in the game. That's an interesting take. It's an interesting take. I don't think it's F. I'll go like this. I'll look at the bosses that would be in its tier. I don't think Wormface is B. I think maybe Wormface is high C tier. It's better than the Black Knife Assassins. I think it's better than the Ancient Hero. But I don't think it peaks the rest of them. So I think this is kind of where our Wormface is adding up here. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys, I gotta take a quick call here. Give me a second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. We are back. Alright, so you said the Melania fight next, eh? Let me put that music on. Melania OST. It's a little bit longer in this one, but I'll cue it up. Alright, let's keep it going, guys. Gideon Ofnir. The all-knowing. Oh, I got Melania's cue up, Lucas, don't worry. Gideon Ofnir, man. I'm not a big fan of the Gideon's fight either, Alex. I think it's severely underwhelming. Like, what I think Gideon should be is similar to the snail. I think Gideon should be useless as fuck in the back, but he should like summon a Pokemon that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, to me, he looks like a summon kind of boss, not a spellcaster. He's so easy to kill. You can stagger him. Yeah, he's just yapping at you. He doesn't have a cutscene. He's just trying to stand there with aura, but he has no aura at all. Gideon is D tier, man. But as I look at the D tier, I think Gideon's top of the D tier. I think that's pretty fair. Let me put Soldier Godric next to him. All right, we got 4 left, and these are a good 4, chat. Let's start with Rykard. Let's do Rykard first here. Rykard for me, chat. I don't know how you guys feel. Rykard is an S tier. But the question is, where in S tier do I put Rykard? I think Rykard beats Placidusax. I think Rykard beats Moog. I think Rykard beats Godfrey. And if I remove my my bias for dragons, chat, I think Rykard can even beat Fortisax. Rykard does not beat Malekith, though. I think the gimmick fight in this game is best handled by Rykard. They give you a weapon and say, here, use this to kill him if you want. It's probably what you're going to use. And it's balanced so well. His entire level of Volcano Manor is beautiful. His boss arena is insane. It's insane. His first phase is so different from his second phase. The cutscenes, everything about Rykard is, it's beautiful. And that attack he does with all the skulls coming down from the sky, it literally feels like you're running around in hell. And to feel that helplessness while you fight a boss it's a thing of beauty. It is a thing of beauty. You know what? I think Morgott is better than Fire Giant. I kind of glanced at it. I think Morgott's better than Fire Giant. I like that more. Nile better than... No, I think even though Godric's easier than Nile, I think Godric is still a better boss fight overall. Together! Together! Yeah, I love the Rykard fight, guys. Can you elaborate, Lucas? Because I've said a lot of things there. What was the crazy take? Because I know I've had some crazy takes making this list here. But it was something about Rykard, likely. But what was it that you draw exception to? Because I want to give you my rebuttal as well. Because I really do think Rykard is one of the best fights in this game. And in the base game, we only got 3 left here, chat. So we already know it's going to be good. And if you guys haven't already, like the stream, like the stream. That shit does help. We're not playing a game here, so this one's not really going to take off and pop off in the algorithm. But, the likes still help a lot. Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to hear what you got to say, Lucas. I refuse to rate Radon until you defend yourself. He is trash. His moveset is good, but you can literally use Starfist and get close and dominate him. Yeah, but if you need like one specific weapon, just do a weapon tier list. I don't honestly, bro, I don't have enough knowledge about all the weapons. The thing is about the bosses is I fought all the bosses, but I haven't used every weapon, so it wouldn't be a fair tier list. His moveset is good, but if you're picking one weapon that cheeses him, then I don't think that rates him. I think that rates the weapon more. Because like 99% of people who played through the game didn't use that weapon their first playthrough for this fight and cheesed him. You know what I mean? I think it's still pretty fair to keep him where he is. But we still got the DLC left here, so we'll keep going. We got Radon, guys. We got Star Scourge Radon. And right as I said, Rykard beat all those other bosses. I think Radon is the second highest S tier fight in this game. Everything about it is just Giga Chad energy, guys. You get a cutscene like leading into the fight, like setting the stage. You have an army of people helping you, and it's still not enough. His moveset, his energy. Yeah, everybody would agree that Radon is S tier. I don't think anybody would say otherwise. And he's doing the whole fight on horseback. If you like people who talk about the strongest bosses in the lore, it's always Radon. It's always Radon. Like, he's fighting you at the worst point in his life, and he is still a massive problem. He's dying from the rot. He's lost his feet. He's lost his mind. He's turned to cannibalism. His half brother or something is like fucking trying to steal his soul, and he's fighting you on the back of a horse that is like this big in comparison to him. All of that. Oh, you're right. My bad. Here, let me turn that. All of that while he's just holding the stars up in space, bro. It's insane. Radon is him, and it's undeniable how he is him. But he ain't Malekith, though. Malekith sits at the top. This is not including Prime Consort Radon, Alex. I'm about to get to the DLC bosses in a second here. So next we got the final boss of the game. We got Radagon and the Elden Beast. Radagon and the Elden Beast. I think for me, Radagon is he's high A. He's let me look here. Bro just comes from the sky, actually though. See, Radagon being the final boss of the game makes me want to just innately rate him high. But as I'm looking at the other bosses in this tier list, I don't think I do. I think he's over here. I prefer Radagon more than Elden Beast. I think Elden Beast is it's a B tier. I think this is about right. Yeah, Elden Beast isn't great. I can't stand the bosses that their whole design is they run away from you. I find that extremely unengaging, and it's boring, it's slow. But Radagon is the opposite of that. Radagon's coming in to fight you, you know? The Elden Beast arena is peak. The Elden Beast lore is peak. Elden Beast being the actual last enemy in the game that you need to beat before you become Elden Lord is peak. But the gameplay of the boss is weak. And for me, that outweighs a lot of the other aspects. So I'm going to give Elden Beast the high B, which is, it's not a bad regard by any means, but Mimic tier being above Elden Beast is kind of crazy though, huh? Okay, here, what if I do this? What if I put Mimic tier at the top of B and Elden Beast at the top of A? Is that crazy? Or I still feel like Elden Beast is B tier though. It doesn't deserve A. Yeah, let me do that. That looks fine. All right, and that's our list for the base game, guys. So we're gonna review this in a quick second. Yeah, the Radagon lore is awesome. The Radagon gameplay is pretty fun. His arena, it's a little bland, but I think it being bland is kind of part of it as well. But yeah, I'm gonna review this in a second, but let's keep going. So we're in the DLC now, guys. We've made it. The Ancient Dragon Man. It's a typical human type fight, so he can be staggered pretty easily. But his design is pretty cool. He has a sick katana. He turns into a dragon. He has dragon incantations that he uses. I think he's a high B. I think he's high B. All right, this list of enemies here is wasting no time. I can tell. Ancient Dragon Senesax is F tier. F tier, everybody knows it. You know it, I know it. Senesax is trash, man. Oh, I agree, Photos. Like, the environment of the Elden Beast is immaculate. But the fight's mechanics are what hold it back for me to break through to A. Yeah, Senesax, though, this enemy has way too much HP. It deals lightning damage, and you're standing in water for most of the fight, so you take extra damage. It's just obnoxious. And it's before the Bale fight, which is a good dragon. And he's next. So let's just keep, cut the pleasantries. Bale is S tier in one of the best fights in the DLC. And, as we're talking about it here, let me do this. Let's put the Bale music on. You got Egon with you. And when you get a summon that's worth summoning in, that has to count for something. Like his dialogue, the lore, it feels like peak Elden Ring is the Bale fight. The arena, the build up, the whole volcano, or the jagged peaks rather, with a hail of harpoons. Yeah, Bale is he is him. I'm glad we got a decent spread. Turn the music up? Yeah, I got you. I don't want to be too loud though. Yeah, Bale is everything right about the DLC. And everybody knows it, so I don't really need to argue too much for it. So Black Knight Idrid. There's a bunch of Black Knights. I feel like these guys are all kind of B tier. I don't really prefer them in any necessary order. The Black Jail Knight. Is that the one that's like guts? I think so. As far as the human boss fights go, I think he's one of the better ones. He's dangerous. Yeah, the Placidusax heads on Bale, that lets you know where Bale stands. The Black Knight Jail in C. Honestly, in my head, I was like, he's either really high B or low A, because he's one of the best human enemies in the game, I think. Because like his repeating crossbow, his Ash of War, he's a little tanky. Maybe I put the Black Knights into C. I like that more. Then I don't need to put him in A. I like that. I like that. Chief Blood Fiend. Put him in C. Not very exciting. Curse you, Bale! Oh yeah. This is boss music, guys. This is boss music. Commander Gaius. So I've only played the DLC 2 times. Bump it right there, that's about right. And my first playthrough, I fucking hated Gaius, straight up. It's like this boss is designed to hit you. No matter what you're doing or where you are, he's gonna hit you. And yeah, the gravity magic is pretty cool, Lucas, but I feel like his aggression level and his mobility is really tough. Like, he has insane combos. You know, he's got the AoE with the magic and stuff. It's really hard to dodge his dashing. So on my initial playthrough, I would have put Gaius in D. But when I beat him the first time, I kind of switched my style up. And the bosses that make me change my gameplay, I'm torn on it. Because, like, my gameplay should stand on its own. And I shouldn't need to change my build to fight a boss. But Gaius, once I learned that guard counters were kind of his kryptonite, Gaius became a lot more manageable for me. I'll put Gaius in low B. 100%, Lucas. 100%. I don't want the boss to sit back and wait for me to get to him. And he's unrelenting, which is nice. But the hitboxing on his dashes is it's tough. It's a tough fight. But you know, this DLC is made of tough fights, and they should be like that. So I think overall, I'll give Gaius a low B. Count Ymir. It's a pretty uninteresting fight. Don't have much to say about him. You know, as I see, let's put the Dancer over here as well. Curse Blade Labyrinth. I love these enemies, but the first enemy you come across in the DLC is this guy. So him being a boss doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because usually you do it the other way, where you introduce a boss and then later it becomes a standard enemy to show your progress through the game. But them doing it the opposite with him doesn't make a lot of sense. His only gimmick is the shadow stuff, where, you know, he blinds you in the abyss and you kind of gotta guess where he is. But to me, I don't really think that makes him all that more interesting. But let me put him over here. I think that's about right. The Death Knights. Ooh, the Death Knights. Let's not waste any time. These guys are awesome, guys. I love the Death Knights. Their aesthetic are sick. Their lore, you know, they were Godwin's boys. Their attacks, their movesets, the ethereal ghost-like wings and shit, like, they're sick. I'm a big fan of the Death Knights, and the fact that you can get their armor as well, it's toasty. It's toasty. Deathrite Bird buffed. Yeah, you're gonna be in S tier or F tier as well here. Certainly not S tier. I'm gonna put it above Senesax just because Senesax, I don't like him, straight up. The Deathrite Bird these are both enemies from the base game that just got buffed, and that's kind of lazy to me. They're not new, they're not creative, they're just like juiced up, dialed up a little bit. It's boring. It's boring. Demi-Human Queen Mariga, same situation, an enemy from the base game. We don't need to fight these bosses. We already did. You know, not very interesting. Senesax is so far at the bottom of my list here. Demi-human Swordmaster Yoda. This boss is pretty fun, guys. I'm gonna put him high. Put him up in the A tier. Put him up in the A tier. The first time I fought Onzi, I killed him kind of quick, and I didn't really get to see his full moveset. But then I saw him a little bit more. I saw other people fight him, and then on my second playthrough, I did fight him a little bit more evenly. And he's fun to fight. You know, he's jumping around straight up like Yoda in Attack of the Clones. You know, and it's an exciting fight. It's a little different. Divine Beast Dancing Lion. Where to put him? Falling Star Beast, or we're gonna put him with the rest of the reprints. I'm gonna put him up above. I don't hate those quite as much as the Deathrite Birds. Let me see if there's any more clones here. The Doubletree Sentinels. That's here, Demetria. 2%. Red Bear, I put him here as well. Rakshasa, put him here as well. These guys are all kind of interchangeable for me. Divine Beast Dancing Lion. The cutscene is awesome. The arena and the build-up to this boss is awesome. I see, Lucas, I see. He's aggressive, which is nice. The camera is pretty bad in this boss fight. 100%, Alex. 100%. I think the Divine Beast is it does get the S tier. I think it breaks through for me. It's a fun fight. It's the diversity of the elements as it transforms keeps the fight feeling fresh as it goes. When I think of unfair mechanics in this boss fight, I don't really think of any, honestly. What's up, Rizan? I think the worst part about the Divine Beast fight is the camera, because he jumps around so much, he moves around you, and it messes with the camera. But I'm gonna try not to take that away from the Divine Beast, because if we look at the other list, almost every boss in S tier is near flawless. But like Fortisax, his biggest detriment is he doesn't have enough HP. Moog is not perfect because the Lord of Blood is vulnerable to bleeding. You know what I mean? Starscream's Radon, you can cheese him, you can throw him off the map and one-shot him with his meteor, you know? Yo, what up, Sandy? Nice to see you. Yeah, so like even though there's bosses in S tier, they don't necessarily need to be perfect. And I think the Divine Beast, yeah, no, that guy's came in before, and I've let him slide, but you know, that guy just gets the quick ban this time. But I think Divine Beast gets the S tier. He's lower S tier than Bale for sure. All right, let's keep going. The Furnace Golem. These guys, they don't feel like bosses. They feel like puzzles instead, because you can kill them with the furnace pots, and trying to fight them as is head on without the furnace pots, it's a death sentence, because you're not necessarily supposed to do it. They've designed these guys to be taken out in specific ways, and if you don't do it like that, then you're just punishing yourself. So in terms of the DLC bosses, I think the Furnace Golems are honestly the first of the F tier. They look cool, they got good lore, but the fight of them is just awful. So I think this is the actual first F boss in the DLC. It's the Golem. You can stagger them for sure, but like I killed the first one for the deflecting tier by doing it like that, but it's miserable. Like, it has so much AoE, it has so much HP. If you don't use bleed, it'll take forever. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's miserable to fight. They're beautiful to look at. The lore is cool. Their design is awesome. I just don't like the fight. Maybe I move it to D. I think maybe D. I think that's fine. The Ghost Flame Dragons. Okay. Ghost Flame Dragons. As far as the dragons in the DLC go, I think they're pretty cool. I'm gonna give it an A tier. Because it, unlike all the dragons in the base game, when you find these dragons, they're different. They look a little bit different. The game plan of fighting them is still the same as a Gil. Hey, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Oh, we'll look at the other list in a second, Razan. But you will be disappointed. I like the Ghost Flame Dragons. I don't really put the clones right next to each other, but I'll put them here for brevity. The Ghost Flames are fun to fight. The second one you fight with all the other enemies isn't as enjoyable, because it's just a free-for-all, but I do like the design of the enemy on its own, though. The Golden Hippo. The Golden Hippo. So I'll make sure there's only one of them here. There is. Okay. On my first playthrough, I was not a fan of the Hippo. I probably would have put the Hippo at probably high C. But on subsequent playthroughs, I don't know if it was just my dodge timing got better or my weapon was dealing more damage, but it became more enjoyable for me. I'll put the Hippo in, let me put him low B. Yeah, I think it's better than Gaius. I would rather fight the Hippo than fight Gaius. As I'm looking at it now, let me move him here. Maybe this is my B list here. Yeah. That's a bit better. The Jagged Peak Dragon. So this is just another reskin from the base game, but there's two dragons fighting each other. I don't think it's necessarily a fun fight. Nothing really exciting about it. It's just a normal dragon you fight. The Lamenter. He's got a cool design. I think he's a top of C here. And you can transform into him, I believe, as well. All right, we got some hard hitters coming up here next. Let me move some of these up to the front. Charlie Dan. Really put them here. Okay. Hey, I appreciate it, Sandy. So the double Tree Sentinels, and they are buffed. We are familiar with the Tree Sentinels. Fighting two of them at once, we've already done it. They're not necessarily that challenging by this point in the DLC either. They are in a cool zone. Alright, Lucas. Alright. I think the double Tree Sentinels, we'll put them below the Furnace Golem. They're fun to fight, but we've done it before, you know. We got the Great Red Bear, both of them. As far as the giant bears go, I think they're decent. Put both these guys in high C. They're pretty interchangeable for me. Dryleaf Dane. I think this guy is the best of the. What's up, Billy? Nice to see you, bro. Thanks for coming in, man. It's actually getting dark here. Let me turn my light on. Alright, we back here. Dryleaf Dane. I think he's the best. He's the best invader. Humanoid fight. Nothing like doing kung fu. And when you beat him, you get his kung fu, and you get his hat. And that matters. I know I said the drops don't matter, but if you get his hat in kung fu, how does that not matter? Dryleaf Dane is the best NPC invader, and I think that's evident here. Mesmer the Impaler. Lucas. Mesmer the Impaler. We're gonna grab him. For a little while, I guess, Sandy, maybe like a month or so. By invader, I mean like the humanoid fights, like fighting like a player versus player. Like it's not really invasion, but it's invasion style. Like all these human fights are all essentially the same format. Mesmer the Impaler. He's not F tier. He's not D tier. Certainly not C tier. Is he B tier? I don't think he's B tier. Oh, let's look at A tier. He beats the Ghost Flame Dragons. He beats Onzi. He beats the Death Knights. We all know Mesmer is S tier. That much is a given. Oh yeah, Alex, we don't fuck around, bro. We're here for a good time, man. I'm not fucking with people like that. That ain't worth it. Mesmer the Impaler. He is better than the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. Is Mesmer better than Bale? Now that's a real tough question. What do you think, chat? Is Mesmer a better boss than Bale? I think he is. I think Mesmer is a better boss than Bale. We've been here before. I'll play it here. Mesmer OST. The music, the cutscene, the lore, the build-up, the arena, the mechanics, and the gameplay, the significance of the fight. He was in the trailer. Everything about Mesmer is why we got the DLC. His difficulty as well. He's pretty tough. And yeah, Mesmer is he's S tier, guys. Yeah, I think we are, Sandy. I'm not too sure on what time, but I think we will be playing some Elden Ring later. Yeah, Lucas, his name's Impaler for a reason, you know? I feel like his boss arena could have leaned a little bit more into his title. But yeah, Mesmer's awesome. So we'll keep going here. Meteor, Mother of Fingers. I've heard some people say mixed things about this boss. I've heard this boss is great. I've heard this boss is fucking trash. Me personally, Meteor, I think this is one of the highest A tier fights in the game. I don't think Meteor breaks through to S tier. I think Meteor is one of the highest A's. I love the design of this boss. It's got that Eldritch vibe from Bloodborne, executed pretty well. You know, the quest leading up to it, it's like, it's so weird, but it's distinct with all the finger stuff. The gameplay of the boss is fun. It's got cool attacks. It's not too vulnerable, but you know, it's a fun fight. I really like Meteor. Jory Elder Inquisitor. Hey, I appreciate it, Sandy. Jory Elder Inquisitor. This boss reminds me of the Crystal Sage from Dark Souls 3. And I think this boss is probably a high C. You know, Jory's an F? Okay. Yeah, why is that, Angus? Why is that, bro? Jory is A because all he does is summon a holy spiral on you and shoot stuff at you. Why would that make him A tier? I think Jory is C. Like, it's an interesting fight. The location's okay. Like, he looks cool. I don't like fights with ads, so that reduces it a bit from B tier for me. I don't think it's a trash fight though. It's engaging because there's you know, he's moving around a little bit, but not too much that it feels like he's straight up running from you like Elden Beast. Yeah. You think it's F tier, Angus, eh? I don't think it's F tier. I could give him D tier. I wouldn't hate him being the top of D tier, but I don't think he's worse than the rest over here. It's unique enough, even though it's not a great fight. Like, the F tier we have is just copy paste fights from the base game, and then our D tier is like pretty boring fights. They're not that interesting. So I guess, yeah, I think he belongs in D tier. All right, we got some fun ones coming up here. We got Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame. I think Midra is on the cusp on the cusp of greatness. But I don't know if it breaks through. What do you think, chat? Do you guys think Midra breaks through to S tier? Midra is an S. Midra is an S. Lucas, you're saying to put him above Bale? I don't think I can do that. I don't find that his gameplay as exciting as his lore and his design. His design, his lore, his music, his arena. It's incredible. But the gameplay of the fight with the madness, I find it's pretty tough. And very punishing tough, not satisfying tough. High A or low S, I think that's where we're at, Photos. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a bit of a gimmick. Angus is, you know, if you get tagged by something here, you get tagged by something there, and then if you get tagged again, you just instant lose. It's extremely punishing. I feel like he's tankier than he needs to be. I think Midra is the top of A. If there was a category in between an A plus or an S minus, Midra would have that category on his own. I think he's stuck in between both of these tiers. But for the sake of the list, I'll keep him in high A, I think. The Putrescent Knight. This is another contentious one. A lot of people say they fucking hate this boss. They can't stand it. I like this boss, Chad. I like this boss. I don't know why I do, but I really do. For me, the Putrescent Knight's probably at the top of B. It's a challenging fight. It's in a very distinct location. The boss's design is awesome. Its moveset is, you know, it's interesting. It's unique. Can it be a little corny? Yeah, it can be a little corny. But that's why it's not making it all the way into A, you know? I think the Putrescent Knight is B tier. It's too little health, eh? I think that's offset a little bit by how much damage everything deals, Angus. Because like Fortisax, for example, it doesn't have a lot of HP, but he doesn't have a lot of damage either. And if you have like 60 Vigor, Fortisax does nothing to you. 60 Vigor against Putrescent Knight doesn't feel like you have an advantage though. So I think Putrescent is pretty fair to be. Consort Radon, I'll vote in a second. Let's do Romina next. So Romina, Saint of the Bud. I think this is an A tier fight, guys. I'm gonna put it right here. I think above Metir. You know, as I look at it, let me put Ghost Flames in B tier, high B tier, for the sake of the curve a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot more. I like the Romina fight, guys. The arena is beautiful. The boss is it feels reminiscent of the Centipede Demon from Dark Souls, and the homages are always welcome. The music's pretty awesome. I feel like the hitboxes can be a little bit weird. It's not perfect, but it's a fun and distinct boss to fight. You know, I look forward to fighting it. Like on my second playthrough, I was eager to get there, you know? The butterflies, Alimo, the butterflies, honestly. Hey, nice to catch you, bro. Nice to see you make it. We only got 3 left here, chat. Rolana Twin Moon Knight. This is gonna be probably one of the most controversial picks in my list here, chat. I think, for me personally, I think Rolana is over here because Rolana is my favorite boss to fight. There is no cutscene. The music is not great. There is not a lot of build-up towards her. And for that reason, I feel like she should be over here or over here. But in pure gameplay of fighting these bosses, and the reason I play Elden Ring, Rolana is one of the most satisfying bosses for me to fight. And I'm overrating her more than I should. So maybe if I'm being purely honest, I think this is it. I love the Rolana boss fight. For me, it really is a toss-up between Rolana second or Bale second. If I'm being honest with myself, I think it is Rolana. Yeah, I'll put it on, Ambi. I think you're right. Let me try it up here. I guess I just get too focused on the actual fight. Rolana OST. Okay, let's give it a listen here. Okay, okay. We only have 2 left here, chat. I think I'm going to leave her where she is. For me, Rolana is... It's everything a boss fight needs to be. And it being homage to Pontiff Solivan, it's welcome. Okay, let's listen to this drop, Ambi. That's exactly it, Joe. If she had a cutscene, you know, if she had more lore, she would be the best boss they'd ever made. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. Okay. Alright, I think you redeemed the music, Ambi. You're making me feel better now. Yeah. Alright, guys, there's only 2 left. There's only 2 left. The Shadow Tree Avatar, I'm gonna rate first, is my absolute least favorite boss in all of Elden Ring. I think you're right, Ambi. I didn't get a chance of really hearing the music because I was too engaged in the fight. You know what? Here. There we go. Shadow Tree Avatar, I'm giving him his own category. I can't stand that boss fight, man. This music, though. Yeah, just, this boss is so obnoxious, Alex. Like, all of the thorn bullshit, like his range thorn attack is obnoxious. He'll do it even at like close range. He'll do that shit for some reason. He does the AoE thorns. Everything procs bleed. He has like AoE after AoE. His massive dash attacks constantly running from you. This boss it's atrocious. Phase 1 Radon is A, Phase 2 Radon is F. Yeah, I think the music was a good choice, Ambi. I'm glad you told me to check it out again. Making me feel a lot better about ranking her so high. Because Rolana is one of my favorite bosses in all of Elden Ring. It's the one, like, when I started doing another playthrough, she was the one I was most excited to actually fight. And for good reason. It's so satisfying. And like doing the parries on her, it's music. It's music. Alright. Radon, Consort of Mikola, chat. Radon, Consort of Mikola. I need to focus here. I need to focus here. Bump it down a bit. Post nerfs is an A. Lucas is vouching big time for S. Billy says A. Okay, I'll run you through my thought process here as I'm going. I'm thinking about my first time playing Radon. The first time I fought Radon was before the nerfs. The cutscene. Okay, the cutscene, I'm gonna hold it. Alright, we'll do it like this. The cutscene is S tier. It being Radon in the first place as the final boss of the game doesn't do it for me. He comes out of nowhere. It's Mohg's body, somehow it's Radon's soul inside of it. doesn't make sense to me. It seems a little shoehorned in. Radahn first phase, I think, is S tier. It's very reminiscent of the OG Radahn, kind of mixed with Godfrey for me. I like the first phase of Radahn. The music's awesome. The lore, the arena, like you said, Lucas. The trailer it's all great stuff. Everything falls apart for me in phase 2, chat. Everything falls apart in phase 2. And on my first playthrough of the game, I would have straight up put Radahn in the category of delete this shit from the fucking game. Because Radahn in phase 2, it's not fun to fight. It's challenging for the sake of being challenging, but it's not fair. It is insanely difficult, and it took me, if I had to estimate, maybe 11 hours. That is Melania, Ambi. Good catch, good catch. Oh, it's a Margit and Melania mix, actually. It's a mix of both themes. Good ear, good ear. I'm not great with the themes like that. I don't catch up on stuff like that. That's crazy. Yeah, on my initial playthrough, I couldn't stand Radahn's phase 2, man. It's the light show, all the lasers. It's just frustrating, man. But after the nerfs, after going through it again, I'm removing him from delete this boss from the category. I did actually enjoy the fight. I think it is still needlessly hard. I think he is better than the B tier. I'm gonna put him. I'm torn here now. I think Midra is visually more exciting. I think this is where I put Radahn, honestly. At this point, mixing my my first experience fighting Radahn without nerfs to beating him again after the nerfs, I think Radahn is he's a fine boss, but I don't think he's great. Like, yeah, even in B tier, like, straight up, like, I think he's better than like Onzi. Like, if I rearrange it, like, maybe I do this, like, I could do something like this. But even then, I prefer the Death Knights. Like, I'd rather fight a Death Knight than fight Radahn. The boss should make you want to fight it. Like, truly, right? And, like, when I don't enjoy the mechanics of the Midra fight necessarily, but I'm eager to fight him because the area is awesome, the build-up is sick, the cutscene's awesome, and it looks cool when you're fighting him, even though the madness stuff's a little annoying, you know? Oh, the trailer is awesome, Lucas. Yeah, for me, Radahn is just, it's a misstep in how to design the boss fights. They made it more difficult than it needed to be, instead of trying to think creatively on how to make it engaging but difficult. So, I think this is our list, chat. And we made it here, so here. We're gonna save this. Log in. Never mind. Here, let me just take a screenshot then. Fuck that. I'm not logging in. Here. Right here. We're gonna save this for posterity, chat. We're gonna call this DLC bosses. I'm gonna go over here. Zoom out so I can get the whole list here, full screen. And I think this is our tier list, chat. Base bosses. Yeah, the thing is, Lucas, though, like, it just being the final boss only means so much, you know? Like, if we look at the normal tier list here, Radagon is an A tier boss, And the Elden Beast is a B tier boss, bro. It just being the last boss doesn't necessarily mean everything. But it's the gameplay, it's the mechanics, it's more than just one aspect. Radon has a lot of good things going for him in the DLC. Like the build-up of the Divine Gateway, the lore of Mikola becoming a god, you know, stealing his brother's soul, like kidnapping Mohg's body. That shit is, it's cool, but the mechanic of the fight is very unenjoyable for me. I feel like if this list had 2 tiers of good fight and bad fight, R'Lana would be number 1 and Radon would be at the very bottom. But there's a bit of nuance, and it's hard to separate some of the factors. But for me, I think Radon is still an A tier boss. He, you know, the first phase is incredibly fun to fight. It's satisfying. It's fair. But it's still difficult. But phase 2, it doesn't feel fair anymore. It just feels difficult to be difficult, you know? I get it's supposed to be a challenge, bro, but at the end of the day, it's still a video game and it should be fun. And for me, Radon, consort of Mikola, is not a fun boss. And I'm specifically referencing before the nerfs, because they shipped that with the expectation that this boss is ready to be beaten by everybody. But it's absurd. It was just absurd. And I feel like the nerfs made it a lot more palpable. But Radon is just not my cup of tea, chat. And like I said, initially on my first playthrough, Radon would have been down here, because that shit, I didn't want it, man. It was miserable. When I finally killed him, bro, I didn't even feel happy, man. I was just relieved that the shit was over and I can move on with my life. And that's not a feeling that I want to have when I play these games, you know? They should feel satisfying when you beat these bosses. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's our tier list, chat. Let's give it one more quick look over here. So maybe we'll do one quick little rearrange, but let's start from the bottom. Now we're here. The Putrid Tree Spirit being my least favorite boss in the game. I think that's pretty fair, because the arena and the rot is just miserable. And the size of the hitboxes, everything is stacked against you for that fight. And it's the same thing. It doesn't feel fair, because the deck is just stacked against you. Yeah, all the lasers and shit, Joe. It's awful. Grail, I don't know why this is in here. That's like the giant dragon that can't move. Like, that shouldn't really even be on this list. The Tibia Mariner being another one of the worst bosses, I think everybody agrees on. It's just underwhelming, it's boring, it's slow, it's predictable. The Demi-Human Queen could probably be in D tier if I'm being a little bit more honest, but it's not going to make a huge difference. The Golems, the Tree Spirits, the Deathrite Bird in the Snow Zone, and Godfroy. Yeah, I think these are the worst bosses in the base game. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the list here, guys. I think that's gonna be it for now, guys. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out for the list here, and knowing you guys showed up for it makes me want to do more of these. This was really fun. It's a challenge to think of the reasons why you like things and why you don't like things, you know? Because even though you might have a preconceived notion, having to try to justify it, it's a fun thought experiment, you know? Have to challenge our own beliefs a little bit, right? But here, actually, ooh, hold on now. Can I click this? Is this gonna work? I gotta log in. I'm not logging in. Miss me with that shit. Yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate all you guys coming through, man. And we will be back a little bit later. I'm gonna go get a little bit of food in me, and we're gonna play some more seamless co-op today. It's gonna be fun, and I hope to see you guys there.